Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, near or far, high or low. You're listening to the Coach D podcast, where we dive deep into the game of basketball, uncovering the stories, strategies, and insights that inspire players, coaches, and fans alike. And today, I can't lie, even when I was teaching at school, I was super excited to have another London Lions high-level pro athlete. But listeners, you know how we do on the Coach D podcast. Let's introduce this high-level athlete the right way. So let's cue in the music and set the scene for this high-level guest. Listeners, today I'm excited to announce a rising star in British basketball, Matthew Goodwin. Matthew has been making waves on the court, representing Great Britain in the European U20s this past summer. He's been showcasing his skills with Manchester Magic last season and leaving his mark at the Hoop Bix Classic 2024. Now we're stepping into a new chapter as a professional player for the London Lions in the Superleague Men's. In this episode, we're going to explore Matthew's journey, his approach to being a pro player, how he trains and prepares during the season, and mental game behind making clutch decisions in high pressure moments. Plus, we're going to get his perspective on what it means to play at the highest level in British basketball. So listeners, coaches, aspiring athletes, grab your notebook because this episode is going to be packed with insights you do not want to miss. So please give a warm welcome to Matthew Goodwin.
That was a good ass intro. That was a good ass intro.
Thank you. I mean, again, this is something that I'm starting. I've been fortunate enough to be doing the audio podcast for 4 years and now just starting the visual. And it just felt right to start with homegrown talent, London Lions. So honestly, I appreciate your time, Matthew. This really means a lot. And before we even get started, how was your physical and how was your mental?
Or just health in general?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough during the season because, they're pushing you really hard. You're tired all the time, your body's sore. But because I'm a younger guy, they expect me to be, always giving more than 100%, 110%, 120%, always giving the extra, first at practice, last at practice. And physically, it is demanding, very demanding, because, I'm only young and I'm playing against people who are like 30 odd.
Yes.
Which is a weird concept to think about.
Right.
A really weird concept to think about. That's just how it is now. That's the way it's going to be for the next, 5-6 years of my life. So the physical part is fine. The most challenging one is the mental. It is mentally draining every single day, knowing that I know I love my teammates with a passion, but we're fighting for minutes still. And people are still trying to prove their spot. A new guy's coming recently, Tyler.
Yes.
Love the guy. Love that guy. But he's coming in fighting for minutes, and everyone's fighting for their roles. So mentally, it's draining knowing every day that even though these are my teammates, these are my family on the court, we're fighting against each other for an opportunity.
Right.
So it is mentally draining, but it's fun as well at the same time, and that's what it's all about.
Right.
It's a challenge, and I like a good challenge.
Nice.
So yeah.
And before we even just speak about your early career, where was you and who was the person who placed the basketball in your hands for the very first time?
It was my dad.
Okay.
I was young. I've been very privileged to play for a long time. I was 3 years old.
Damn.
3 years
early. Jeez.
So my dad used to play. He wasn't great. And I swear, sorry, Dad. He was good, but he wasn't he wasn't anything like to what I'm doing. Does that make sense? He was local league. He still taught me everything, all the fundamentals he taught me at a younger age.
Right.
So still I'm really appreciative that he spent time with me with that. But he got me into it. I was 3 years old. He played basketball. I went and watched one of the games. I loved it. Picked up a ball, started dribbling. And then when I was about 3.5, maybe, I was playing in what's known as the Year 3 and 4 League at Redditch, which is against 7 and 8 year olds. And it seems like now, if you say, "Oh, Matt, go guard a 23-year-old," I'd be like, "Cool," because it's only 4 years. But And when you're really young, 4 years is huge.
Huge gap, yeah.
Yeah, 4 years generally is huge. But thankfully, my dad got me on the team. You know, got my first ever bucket when I was 4. I still remember it.
Okay.
Little offensive rebound from the red, just outside the charge circle.
Yeah.
Touched the ring about 20 times. Anyway, I've never been more happy. But yeah, it was my dad that really got me into it.
That's what's up, man. And see, you even touched upon my next question. I feel like every player, no matter what sport, they have that moment where they just love the game and all the hard work starts to pay off. Like for me, when I used to play, shout out to the Campbell Pappers, I was carrying up. I was like, I must have been, I think 17 or 18. And I was playing for the men's team at the time. And usually at that stage, I was like, I can't mess up. If the coach puts me on the court, I can't make no mistakes. Matthew, when I tell you that day, I just couldn't miss. I was like, they were speeding me the ball, three. And it was at that moment I realized I wasn't as nice as you, I'll be real. But like, it was at that moment I was like, not just I love this game, but I'm nice at basketballs. For yourself, when was that moment for you when you realized I'm actually nice at basketball?
I mean, there's been times where like I understand like, oh wow, like I feel like I'm not even like shooting it. I'm just literally just throwing the ball and it's going in.
Okay.
It's not even like a thought process. I'm not even thinking, oh, let me get this right. No, it's just, it just naturally comes up. But I feel like the moment where I knew like, oh, I can really go far with this if I really like put my effort into it. Was there was 2 games during my under 16 season. One of them, well, obviously the final.
Yes.
40 points, 10 of 16 from 3. You know, like genuinely, it's ridiculous. But like that at that moment, I knew that if I got my head fixed on this path and I fully went down this path with all my effort, I feel like this could be it.
Yeah.
This is the moment like genuinely, I could go far with this.
Right.
And the other one was early on in that season when I had 54. Did Matthew just say this stuff? Swear. That was a dark home, genuinely flipping dark home. It was something ridiculous. Like averaging 40 that month. It was straight disgusting. 16 in the under 18s, 40 points. But it was that 54-point game. My dad was Coach Sergio was there, and he was telling me like, you don't even look like you're trying. I'm just out there, you know, in the moment. All the noise around me, everything's off, and I'm just focused on like getting buckets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was something stupid. It was like 37 in the first, I think it was like 12 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Clay Thompson.
It was just because, well, obviously my team will put me in good situations.
True. Yeah.
I'm really like appreciative that they helped me with that. But at that moment, it's just like a feeling like, wow, man. Like, no, I could shoot it like eyes closed and I could kick it at the ring and I reckon it'll go in. You always have this feeling like it's a feeling that I think all players have had it at some point. You know that a heat check, like I'm on fire moment. It was one of those moments where like, wow, like I could go foul.
Yes, yeah. And I feel like because I had the opportunity, shout out to Coach Hugh, this was a couple seasons ago when for the first time I went to the National Performance Centre in Manchester. Like just seeing the facility was amazing. Like it made sense why they host like when like the Final Fours and the Championships there because the facilities is amazing. For yourself, I kind of got a glimpse of what the scene is like with regards to Manchester as a city, but how the basketball is out there. What was it like for you and what was the experience like playing for Manchester Magic last season?
It was good. I mean, obviously we didn't get as far as we wanted to in the deal, you know. We wanted to push the playoffs. But genuinely, I love that club with a passion. With an absolute passion. And I've been there my entire life. I've had so many options to leave, to go to other places, to bark in when I was 16. I was looking at Reading for a little bit. Myers Co, Giants. I looked at a load of them, right? But being like, what's the word? to Magic is what mattered to me the most. That club have provided me nothing but like positive opportunities. I mean, put me in all the positions I'm at now, and all the success I've had in the past is due to them. I give them credit. All the coaches that have had me over the years, they've helped me and guided me to the player I am now.
Right.
Especially last season, because it was difficult last season, because I'll be training and playing with professional athletes, and then on a Wednesday I'll be playing against kids my own age, and it's so, I kid you not, it's so difficult. And in a way, it's easier to play against the pros because they understand basketball. And I'm not saying these academy guys don't understand it.
Yeah.
They do, but not to the level that they do.
Yeah.
For example, I'll get into the lane. I have a video on my phone. I'll probably show you after.
Yeah.
I get into the lane and I go up to dunk it. And next thing you know, a shadow comes nowhere and takes my ass clean out. And I fall over thinking, who on earth hit me? Like, I don't know. The help comes from anywhere that I can.
Yeah.
Help is genuinely like the coach could come on and I'd be in the gap. But at the pro, once you like get into the lane, you know where everything's kind of going to be. So you can kind of make reads easier.
Right.
You have to make reads quicker. But I found it quite difficult to play at Magic last season because of that contrast.
Yeah.
That big contrast.
Right.
It was. I don't blame that on the coaches. That weren't the coaches' fault at all. That was my fault for not being able to adapt. But it was a difficult situation to be in, trying to like play the pro basketball in academy.
See, that's the insight that I didn't even realize. Like for you, it was advantageous to get the opportunity to train with pros because you're learning the game. But when you adapt to, or when you get used to playing with the pros and you kind of come back to your age group,
Yeah.
it's a huge difference. And it's like you feel like you're degressing a bit and stuff. So, I mean, that's a hell of an insight. I didn't even think of it like that.
Some of the stuff I would learn from like the likes of Jamel, Mason, and Callum, it wouldn't even apply to the academy because it just won't happen there. You know, like obviously defensively it's the same. Guarding one-on-one, taking charges, whatever. But offensively, none of it actually applies because it's such a difference in basketball. Like imagine, for example, one of the ones that I like to use, when I try to like explain it to people, is imagine you just play EABL basketball and then you chuck someone in at Cotton Common.
Okay.
Like a Friday evening.
Yeah.
They're going to struggle.
Yeah.
Because the difference in basketball is ridiculous. I went to a park in Manchester called Plattfields.
Okay.
I played professional basketball. I lost to people my dad's age. And I'm not joking.
Wow.
This is how bad it was. He was sat on one of those foldable chairs, threw out his chair, sat down, smoked weed, said, "I'm next." I was like, all right. Checks up, and he beat my ass.
Damn.
Because the basketball's just different. And that's what people sometimes don't understand.
Right.
Yeah.
And kind of making a transition, which one thing I love, because I'm not sure if the listeners, hopefully they're not too young, but there used to be a thing called Midnight Madness.
Oh my gosh.
That they need to bring that back. High key, a lot of a low key, high key, like.
Do it, Samnita. If you're listening, Samnita. You know, I'm gonna have a word with him at the next game actually. I'm gonna put him playing. Should have been back ages ago.
Like, Midnight Madness was such a moment in time. And I speak about this because it paved the way for Hoop Fix Classic now, with regards to the platform, how big it's getting each year. Like, for yourself, how did participating in a Hoop Fix Classic this year help you prepare you for the next level, would you say?
It helped me quite a bit. Obviously, always playing in the Hoops Fix is like a big privilege. Yeah. Big privilege. The gear you get from it and the exposure you get from it and the just experience. Like, it's really like, it's a big privilege to play.
Yeah.
And it's a good step, like a stepping stone, like to see how good you actually are. Because sometimes you don't get the ability to play against the best of the best.
That's true.
So like, last year I only played people in the north for EABL for my age. Okay. So it gave me an opportunity to play the people in the South and play people that went to the States and are coming back and or coming over from overseas. So it's a good opportunity to actually like see how good you actually are compared to other British talent. And yeah, I mean, it's difficult because it's like a scrimmage.
Look, yeah. You get it, yeah.
We get a little practice before the game. But basically, what both teams do is just we draw lob plays because we want to get the crowd going.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
We spent about 20 minutes on lob plays.
Yeah.
We draw one out of bounds play and we just get up loads of shots.
Okay.
So it's a kind of like an organized scrimmage, and sometimes it's difficult to like find a good game in it. Last year's was really good. Did you watch last year's?
Yeah.
So Tyrese Lacey, but
Yeah, oh my God.
I was vexed. You know what the bad part was about that as well? And apart from the question,
Oh no, you're good.
I had to drive home with him for 5 hours. Sat next to him with a big ass trophy. And I see him replying to all this clipping. I was mad. Oh my God, because my first shot got blown out by 40. This year we stand a chance of winning. I don't care about MVP. I want to win. I want that win. What? I'm competitive. I don't care about.
I hear that.
I don't care who gets MVP as long as I win.
Right.
And that shot, knew it was coming. He started doing this workout.
Oh man.
You're good. It does help quite a lot because it can get people to the next platform. And some of the London Lions, his name's Yesem, he saw me at the Hoop Tricks. So I'm playing my first year. So that's how they kind of got an understanding for actually who I am. They saw me in the finals.
Okay.
Again, this London Elite. They saw that, and then they kept an eye on me. You know, like, oh, is that my gun? And then I went to the Hoops Fix, did well there, and some of them were there because it's in London. They might as well come and watch it.
Yeah.
And they saw me there, and I did well there. So that's when they, popped a little message to me, and yeah. So it is a really good opportunity for people to get to the next level.
Absolutely.
You can use it in a way to showcase yourself as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's one thing. There isn't that many players who share that honor. I mean, it's one thing to wear a jersey that represents your school, or that wear a jersey that represents your district or your local club, even at the national league level. But it must be such a different level of honor, excitement, preparation.
Yeah.
To wear that blue jersey that says Great Britain, your name on the back, your number, like representing Great Britain in the European under-20s is such a significant achievement. What was that experience like for you, and how has it shaped your game?
It is an honor. Yes, I represent my country. Always an honor. Only 12 people every year get to say they do it. And more than likely, it's the same 12 every year. True. Unless someone breaks through. So you look at around, a handful of people for my age to represent the 20s, 18s, 16s, whatever.
Right.
And I was always told, going back to your GB and your when you play, you're playing for two names. You play for your nation, right? And it depends which one you see is more important. You're representing Great Britain. So when I walk out on the street and I see an old lady in her car, I'm representing her. When I go up into them, I'm representing her. I'm representing the postman, the milkman, whoever. I go into the shop to get a drink. The guy serving me, he's from Great Britain. I'm representing him, everyone in this nation. And then more importantly to me, the name on the back, I'm representing my family. Everyone that shares my name.
I hear that.
Whether they even relate to me, Harry Goodwin, he's close enough.
Yes.
I represent him as well. So everyone that is part of my family, I put their name on my back.
That's big time.
So it is such an honor to be able to say I've done that 3 times now.
Right.
And back onto the question of the 20s, it is like such another good opportunity to see where I am.
Right.
Because now we're talking like under 18s, you get your odd pro here and there, but normally it's just, club-based players that you're playing against. When you go to the 20s now, you're playing against pros.
Yes.
And I knew that I was going to go to the Lions, more than likely, while I was at GB. So me and my dad were talking, saying this is a good opportunity to see how good you are. You know, you're going to go against pro players from their respective country or players that are pro overseas from that country. So it's a good opportunity to see how good I am and if I'm ready for the next pro level. It was tough. I'm not going to lie to you. It's really, really tough. I was very young. All the people that won were like 20. I was only 18.
Wow.
Okay. It's not because I'm like 2 years younger. I'm like a late 05. You know how it works.
Yes. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
That's so silly. Anyhow. Yeah, it's such a good opportunity to see how good you are and see what you're actually made of when you're put in an environment that you more than likely haven't been in before.
Yeah.
Playing against other countries, they're more than likely going to have passion, to have more pride when they play for their country rather than their club. So you're going to see more aggression, more people diving on loose balls, not fights, but more people like bumping people, checking people. You can see that more often, way more aggression. Nothing gets called out there, like genuinely nothing.
Wow.
Like there was a possession. I went to the ring. I think someone, I don't know, but it felt like someone speared me.
Jesus.
Yeah. I was like, what's going on? No foul called. Because the level of aggression out there and level of
It's
a lot higher. There's more contact allowed. So that was also good to see. Am I able to compete with stronger and more physical players?
right.
And I was, but not really at the same time. So that's why I've been focused at the gym. Like you see.
Yeah. And you see, that's one thing that a lot of I've heard from pros is that it's like you said, and your mindset is great. And even shout out to Potts again, he was okay. This is now a test to see. You know, you might be good in your area, in your districts. You know, but now can you test your skills against international pros or seeing just where you balance out against other teams in Europe, you know? So for yourself, when you're playing at the high level, I mean, I've been able to just watch the games for under 20s, under 18s, under 16. Level of mistake, you just can't afford to make a mistake out there because they shoot the corner through so well. The IQ, the inbounds, the decoys they run just to get a handoff or a shot. Everything is played at such a high level. It really shows. And one thing you do so well, you don't just play the game at a high level with your skill. You have that mental basketball IQ as well. So you kind of spoke about it earlier. How did competing against top European talent impact your confidence and your approach as a player?
It is kind of degrading sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you. It is sometimes good because, like you said before, you may think you're good for your school district. You know, you're one of the best in the country. You go play some random guy from Portugal, and he's locking your ass up. He's locking your ass up, talking shit in Portuguese. Yeah. Then he says something in English, and you're like, what? Like, it sometimes hurts your confidence more than you'll realize.
Yeah.
But it's how you bounce back from that. You can either see it as motivation, saying, oh my days, these guys, they're the same age as people, they're way better. Even though I'm the best in my country, I need to like actually lock in now. I'm no longer training to be, you know, second, to stay second.
Yeah.
Or to stay in front of the second best in this country. I'm competing to try get in the top 10 in that country.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I forgot who said that to me. I think it was Sergio again. He mentioned that you may think you're working really hard for this country, but you go to Serbia and, you know, you're not even doing anything compared to those guys. So when you're practicing, you need to practice to beat those guys. You're not practicing to get better than the guys in this country.
Yes.
You're trying to compete against the people out there. It's not just you trying to fight for this, like, talk about it. It's a fact. It's like there's millions of kids wanting this job, and unfortunately there's people out there that will genuinely kill for this.
Yeah.
Like, they will kill for this. So you need to outwork those guys. So that's the way I saw it when I first went in my first Euros under 18s. That was we might get onto that later, but flip. That was rough. 16, and we played France in the first day. You know Bilal Koulibaly?
No.
He went number 9 in the draft, I think.
Okay. No.
Yeah, he was all right.
Let's give you that.
And then number 13th in the draft, Sidi Sissoko. I played against Sissoko. He plays with the Spurs now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty good. Wemby could have played. Yeah, Wemby could have played. He's 04 born, so I could have played against Wemby, but unfortunately he was in Dallas.
Yeah.
Unfortunately he was in Dallas, so
Yeah.
what a shame, eh?
And again, this is what I've kind of noticed. Each pro athlete that I've come across share the same mindset that you have with regards to, and I'm kind of saying this to some of the kids that I teach in primary school, shout out to London Elite, to the under 16 girls, and it's every player that I'm fortunate enough to coach. Start at the school level. Then I say, oh, coach, I'm the best in my class. That's good, but if you're the best in your class, are you the best in your year? If you're the best in your year, are you the best in your school? If you're the best in your school, are you the best in your area? And it goes on. Are you the best in your district? Are you the best in London? Are you the best in the region? Are you the best in your country? And you might not even have heights or the mindset to aspire to be the best in the world. But it could be something as simple as you're the best in your region or in London. How long can you stay the best at that level?
Yep.
So that's just something that I think you have, which is something that's super key to have at your level.
Yeah.
But it's something that players who want to aspire to your level, that's the type of mindset they should adopt. I personally feel.
It comes down to, I think my dad told me this as well, or saw it on some stupid TV show, or he did, and he told me. And it comes down to saying, if you're the smartest in the room, you aim the wrong route.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I chose to go pro. Because say, for example, I went to an academy the third year. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I thought genuinely, what am I doing? I'm not trying to sound cocksure of myself, but I would be the best player in the academy. Like in the whole nation. There would be no point in me doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like if for all athletes, they should have that mindset of saying, if you think you're good in this area, see how you are in there and keep pushing. There's no reason to stop I'm the best in the region, I think I'm going to chill here. Try to become the best, in the country. And if you don't get it, so what? You made it top 5, good job. You're still top 5 in the country.
Facts.
Facts.
And just making that transition now with your pro career, and especially with London Lions, what does it mean to you to join the London Lions, and how are you adjusting to this new chapter in your career?
Oh, it's, again, an honour to play for the Lions. I've been watching them for a while. Do you remember when LaMelo Ball came over? It goes,
Yeah, the first time I really
caught onto the Lions. First time I really caught on. One of my teammates actually played in that game. Aaron Badibo. He was,
yes, shout to Aaron. He actually, I was so happy that he got the call up to play for them, and not even at the time, maybe a season before, I had the opportunity to, during 2017, I was the head coach for the London regional team, and I had him a part of that team as well. So just to see that player pathway and see where he is now, huge congrats to him. But sorry.
No, he was my age when he played.
Yes.
So that's the first time I really caught onto the London Lions, because obviously the LaMelo Ball hype and everything.
Yeah.
And I've been following them ever since. When they started to get more money and investment, started to sign NBA players when Sam Decker came over.
Yeah. That was a big deal. Yeah.
I had that first. And I've been following them for years now. Years and years. I go watch them play whenever I have the chance.
Nice.
Mainly to go watch, what's his name? Reed Nelson play.
Yeah, man.
He's a genuinely baller.
Since early as well.
Yeah, killing at Reading Rockets.
Yeah, man.
I could feel...
Sniper.
I remember he came and played Magic in Division 1. He was 17. He was doing us dirty. It was vile to watch. But yeah, and for this next chapter, I'm just it's like I'm taking it like, obviously the word chapter means book, like one page at a time. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Seeing where everything goes. Obviously, I'm trying to pave the path where I'm going, but I'm not trying to force my way down there. You know,
I like that.
I'm not trying to like, I'm going there. I'm going in that direction, but it may take me, you know, I have to go this way first, then back here. And I might have to take a few steps back,
That's real.
but I'm going to where I want to get to, which is the next level. And whether that may take me, whether that's, you know, another year at the Lions or overseas somewhere, or where it's at a Euro Cup team, or whether I have to go back to Division 1 for a little bit and then chill out and then go somewhere else, you know?
Right.
So that's how I'm seeing this next chapter. Obviously working hard to keep moving forward.
Yes.
But yeah, that's like the next year or so of my life.
That's what's up. See, this is one thing that I love. And it's why, for me, like, I just love what the Lions, both on the men's and women's side, has done. Because even before then, I would have guests on the podcast that was from the US, and like at the end of the recording, about, yo, Coach D, like, I know there's the EuroLeague, there's the Euro Cup, there's Basketball Champions League, but how come like London isn't there yet, you know? And
Yeah.
it would always be like, look, we've got the talent, but we're almost, you know, just make a couple adjustments, a couple of things in the right direction, but to now finally know that we've got representation in the Euro Cup, where we're on that international platform as a club with like London Lions, is exciting for me to see. I'm sure for fans to see, and even just for players to know that you're not only competing in the Superleague Men's now, but you're actually testing your talents against other international teams. Like, how do you see, from where you started to now, how do you see the growth of basketball in the UK?
I've seen it grow massively.
Wicked.
I've seen, well, Manchester is known for basketball.
Timex.
You know, you see it at Final Fours and everything, when like it's riddled with Manchester teams. I'm not trying to big up the city. You know, it's a fantastic city for basketball. And I've seen it grow firsthand. Sure, again, when we were speaking before this about lockdown, this is when like I feel like it kind of flipped. Because in lockdown, this was illegal, by the way. I tell it now, but I don't care that much. It was illegal.
Yeah.
About the social distancing nonsense.
Yeah.
But there was a park called Plattfields.
Okay.
And before lockdown, I'll go there every now and again, you know, nice summer's day, get an ice cream or slush.
Of course.
Couple shots up, you know, a few free vitamin D from the sun. But then in lockdown, because everyone had to come back from the States and there was no gyms to go use, to go shoot at or whatever, people go to the parks.
Yes.
And I'm talking 60, 70 guys on a floor. But this is where I think it all started to grow from there, because everyone came back. Like Michael Number, Karen Cleary, Wes, all the pros came there to Manchester, where they're from, where they live. So I was 14, scrimmaging against I was getting my ass handed to me. Obviously, people were talking shit because we're at the park. People think, you know, you go there and you're allowed to talk now. I don't care that much.
Yeah.
Seeing it grow so rapidly from that moment is like amazing. Because now during the summer, when I went, you know, just on a random Friday night to go get some shots up, because everything else was short, I went there with some of my friends.
Yeah.
Court was fully loved that, man. Full. I don't know any of these guys.
Yeah.
These guys are just here for straight vibes. Like straight vibes. They're here to just play basketball. Guy with a speaker. Obviously, you got the weirdos on the sideline, just watching. And then, but it's like seeing that it means so much, because I love this sport and this is what this country means.
Same.
I don't know how it grew down in London. I'm not sure that much.
Yeah.
But up north, generally, seeing it just explode into what it is now is fantastic. And now we've got, you know, what are they called? Project Swish.
Yes.
Maybe just like they're doing that thing. They come to court, they give out free nets,
Yeah.
zip ties.
Yeah. Everything.
Helps so much.
Yeah. It's true as well.
Yes. You say it for the odds, so just give it you.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it takes to get it, but I'm presuming it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know?
It is.
And they give you everything you need. They give you instruction now to set it up and everything. And sometimes you just renovate the whole court.
Yeah.
Which is insane to think about. And the fact that we now have that ability to do that
Right.
is like, it's such a massive step forward
Absolutely.
in terms of British basketball.
Absolutely. And what would you say? I mean, you kind of spoke about it earlier with regards to you've got great teammates playing for such a historic club.
Yeah.
And one thing I like about you, Matthew, I'm getting the impression, yeah, you're very humble, down to earth, but you're very real at the same time, you know, with just how you see yourself, but your perspective on things. Like, what would you say are some of the challenges but also opportunities that come with play for a team in the Superleague Men's?
I think the main challenge is realizing you're not as good as you think you are. Like I thought I was arguably one of the best shooters in the country. Right? I go to practice now and I'm watching Michael Brisker shoot. I'm talking just net,
Yeah.
no rink,
Yeah.
nothing. And some of the stuff he does is like, how? So he does make 10 in a row each spot, then takes a step out, make 10 in a row, and then he does some off the dribble. And then at the end of practice, he shoots from the halfway line, right? And he has to make 3 for 5. And I'm sat there thinking, what? If I ever practice a half-court shot in my junior times,
Yeah.
I would have been taken out. I would have been put in a headlock and told to like run sprints. But you're not going to be as good as you think you genuinely are. Obviously, because these guys are been playing pro for years,
Right.
years and years and years. If you're 28, you've already got 11 years pro technically over me.
Okay.
Like, because some people now count like Division 1 in college as kind of like semi-pro.
Okay.
In terms of like, not of like actually being pro, but like in terms of the level.
Okay. Makes sense.
So, for example, like Ade, he's been over in the States now for years.
Yeah.
He was like, 5 years. So he's already got that 5-year head start on me. And that's one thing that it's another again, you can turn this into an opportunity.
Absolutely.
You can see it as a way in that I've got to catch up 5 years worth of basketball in as short amount of time as possible.
Right.
As short amount of time in that terms of learning the game, studying the game, extra reps, all of it. Like my dad was telling me as well, a lot of stuff my dad tells me, by the way.
Shout to Bob.
Yeah, Big Ben Goodwin. He was telling me if, for example, Ade made 100 extra shots those 5 years, just made 100 shots a day, right? Because he's been on that planet 5 years longer than me. In a year, he would have taken 36,000, or he made 36,500 shots. Times 5, when I'm looking at like 150,000 plus shots more than me. So that's what I'm trying to catch up on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's only 100 makes, you know? And obviously I'm not going to be as good as that just yet because I'm only 19 and I'm trying to like catch up in such a short amount of time.
Of course.
But the biggest challenge is realizing that you're not as good as you think you are. And that's not a physical thing. That's more of a mental thing that you have to learn to accept that. Because I was one of the better talents this country has for a junior. One of the best under 18s players as a 17-year-old.
Right.
And then I go play pro and I'm now sitting on a bench for 40 minutes. And it's like, wow, like it barely hurts your soul. It really hurts your soul thinking,
Yeah.
I'm the best this country has to offer. Yeah, I'm sat on a bench. So that's a big challenge, understanding and realizing like you're not as good as they are yet. I think that's the key part though, yet.
Right.
You will be. If you put in the work and the time and the dedication towards it, you will become better. And obviously that's just how, that's how results work.
Right.
But you have to be willing to do that and accept the fact that it's going to be tough.
Right.
No.
And just even before we speak about just your training routine as a pro, you just mentioned something which I think is so key. Like, you was the top player in the nation for your age group, and you just said you were sat on the bench for 40 minutes and you didn't go, you know what, basketball ain't for me, let me just do something else. That didn't affect your training routine, that didn't affect your why or your purpose, that just made you more hungry, more dedicated to the sport, but it kept you grounded as well. Like, where did that mindset come from? Because I feel like now, not every single up and coming athlete, but everyone has a different perspective, different background, different upbringing. And I think one thing I think people don't realize is when you make that game-winning shot, all they see is that photo snap of you making that game-winning shot, but they don't know the endless hours of you missing that shot, getting frustrated, coming back, missing the same shot again. You come back, okay, now I'm finding my groove. They don't see all those scrimmages. They just see you holding up that trophy, you making that game-winning shot, and think, because it looks easy, it is easy. Like, where did that mindset come from?
It's, again, my dad, he always told me to hold my nerve, which basically means just hold on. Like, just genuinely hold on. No matter what you're going through, you're going to get through it. It's just a storm. You got to ride the storm. It ain't going to be fun. It's more than like you're going to hurt physically, mentally, spiritually, if you even believe in that.
Yeah.
But it's going to hurt and it's going to be painful to go through. But when you leave this, this wave of negativity, you'll come out as a stronger person. I've seen that. So you've got to hold your nerve. And my dad repeated that to me all throughout my childhood, where it didn't even have to apply to basketball. It could be anything. School, I did absolutely shit in a test because I didn't study. Matthew, hold your nerve. Next exam, revise, hold your nerve. Whether it's, I was trying to get with a girl and I got rejected. That didn't happen, by the way.